If this is your first time watching one of these videos, my name is Crystal, and these videos are my response to a recovery study called Weight Loss Bootcamp from Setting Captives Free. This is a free online course. I have it linked below. I would love it if you would walk this journey with me if you have a struggle with overeating. Today is lesson number 10. Lesson number 10 is called Washed by Jesus. Yesterday, the lesson was about fighting in the shadow of the cross. Today, we're talking about walking in the light, coming out of the darkness into the light. When we are captive in our sin, we are in darkness. We feel shame. We hide our sin. We are seeking solace and comfort from the very thing that is keeping us in the darkness. Jesus loves us so much. He comes to our rescue. He loves us out of our sin. Like Jesus washing the feet of the apostles, He offers to wash us clean and to bring us into the light. 1 Peter 2:9. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of Him who called you out of the darkness into His wonderful light. Vicky's testimony was so powerful in this lesson. She says, this is about so much more than food and weight. Our goal is to seek comfort from the Lord, not to seek comfort from food or even the scale. As we are radically obedient, God blesses us in surprising ways. His love is better than food. His word is sweeter than honey. Talking about, coming out of the darkness, I thought, I'll share kind of my weight journey with you, because it really goes back to when I was very young. Many people in my family are overweight. Not everyone, and I'm actually probably the heaviest of all of them, but I kind of have that in my genetics to be overweight. And when I was 5, my mother left my father, and we moved across the country. And so that was pretty traumatic for a 5-year-old. Actually, maybe I was 6 at the time. But going through life, food was always a coping mechanism. And I remember my mom worked at a little store. And so I walked to and from school. It wasn't very far. But on my way home, I would stop by her store and I would get 2 candy bars. One for me and supposedly one for my sister. My sister never got that candy bar. I ate both of them every day. So pretty much every day I ate 2 candy bars for many years. I remember, my mom was a really busy person, and a lot of times I would be left home alone. This was maybe after my sister had moved away. But she would order me a pizza. So that was sort of my solace for being alone in the evenings, was I got a pizza. And I grew up at in a college dorm. My mother was a dorm supervisor, and we ate in the college cafeteria. And so for every meal, I had unlimited food, unlimited desserts. I had Pepsi on tap. So I could have as much soda as I wanted, as much, just so much food, so much food available to me whenever I wanted it in the cafeteria, at least during meal times. So it's no wonder I have food problems. There's a lot of things in my life that kind of have led me to that. When I was in high school, I was probably maybe 210 pounds, and I went to Weight Watchers in high school, and I got down to 180 by the time I graduated. And pretty much through college, I stayed maybe 180, 200. After college, when I moved out on my own, within about a year, I went from 200 to 240. I got married and then slowly increased to about 320. I had a great big loss. I did a lot of walking. I went vegan for a while, vegetarian for a while, Weight Watchers. You name it, I did it. And I lost almost 100 pounds. I was 320, went down to about 220. I did lots and lots of walking during that time. Then I had this great big fall. I was in Alaska hiking and I fell 150 feet down a mountain. I have a video about that on the website or on my YouTube channel if you want to watch it. But I couldn't really do as much walking after that, and then so I started gaining back weight. And even when I was recovered and could walk, I didn't do that. So I went back up to about 344. Now I'm just under 300. I had gotten to I'd gotten to 294, so I'd lost the 50 pounds. Like I said, I'd gained back a little bit. So right now I'm at 297.6. So that's my weight loss journey. That's where I've kind of been throughout my life. So I've just sort of lived in the darkness on this topic my whole life. Like I said in some of the early videos, I never would admit that this was a sin problem. It was just a bad habit. It was something that probably wasn't very good for me. Maybe I was hurting the temple, but I didn't really see it as anything affecting my faith. And I've always been a very strong Christian. I mean, I was baptized at 12 years old and grew up in a Christian home, and so I've been a strong Christian my whole life. And as I have grown older, I've gotten stronger and stronger and stronger in my faith. But this one thing has always been there. And so finally, God showed me this is more serious than you think it is. That it really is a sin problem, and it's something that I feel like I was saved before that. I mean, his blood covered that sin, but I want to do better. I want to be washed. I want to be clean. I want to do his will. And so since this has been revealed to me that this is something I need to work on, I am working on it. And I feel like over the last 16 months or so, I have really worked on it. I think I mentioned another time that it's not a speedy process, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it kind of taking a long time. I feel like that's probably healthier for me if I allow it to take a long time versus, dropping 100 pounds in a few months. I don't know that that would be very sustainable. So I feel like if I'm continuing to walk in God's will, and I know I'm not perfect. I mean, I am so not perfect. And I think if I was perfect, I would have lost a whole lot more by now. So it's clearly still a struggle for me, and I'm getting better, and I can intend to get better, and I intend to be more perfect in his will. But I do understand that it is a struggle. But coming out of that darkness into the light, trying to put this sin behind me and walking fully into the light and just allowing that light to fill me. I know we won't ever be truly perfect until we have left this mortal flesh, until we're with God in heaven. That's when the true perfection comes. But, every day we get closer and closer and closer to that perfection. I pray that you are also getting closer and closer to God, and that He's changing you from the inside, that you're walking with the Spirit, you're washing at the cross, and you're warring against your flesh. Thank you. You have a nice evening.